The stage is set. The athletes are ready. The pentathlon season comes to its climax right here, right now. Hello and welcome to Kaunas, Lithuania. Coming up is the men's semi-final B of the UIPM Modern Pentathlon World Championships, the final hurdle before the ultimate showdown as we continue to embrace modern pentathlon's thrilling new era. As we get ready to move outside for the laser run, it's worth considering the conditions. They're actually pretty good. A cool 20 degrees, partly cloudy, providing the perfect backdrop for this thrilling final event. The stage is set for a truly exhilarating finish. 9 men have already qualified for the finals. We have 18 lined up for the second semi-final. They begin with the fencing direct elimination round. First to 5 hits or the most touches in 1 minute for the athletes in the D. They'll then move on to the obstacle course, 8 obstacles, and the name of the game here is to get round as fast as you can. Fastest time gives you the most modern pentathlon points. Then we move into the pool, 200-meter freestyle race, 4 laps of the 50-meter pool, and adjoining this beautiful Zalgiris arena. From the pool, another race against the clock leads us into the laser run, the conclusion of the semi-final. A handicap start. Those with the most points, or the person with the most points gets off first, and then every point deficit you have is a second off the clock. The athletes will do 5 laps of the 600-meter track, punctuated by 4 visits to the range where they need to hit the target 5 times, and then they will conclude with this outer loop, beginning the final lap before they re-enter the arena, and it's the first 9 to cross the line that will go into the men's final.
4, 3, 2, 1, take your mark,
Here we go indeed. The largest indoor arena in the Baltic states, the Zalgiris, is ready and waiting. It's time to meet the contenders. We have big names, big nations competing. 18 in the lineup, but it's the middle pack that we're really focused on in the semi-finals. Positions 7 to 12 are where the race hots up as we move through the contest. Now these athletes are ranked from their fencing seeding round, which they did yesterday. So the athlete with the most victories, seeded number 1, and down in 18th, the Guatemalan Andres Fernandez achieved the least victories in the fencing seeding round. Here comes the top man, Mohamed El Ashkar from Egypt. Just missed out on the podium at the 2023 Junior World Championships right here in Lithuania. Well, we've got 2 Hungarian athletes already through to the final. Can Csaba Bohm join them? He is the reigning world champion and a bronze medalist from the 2023 European Games. Mohamed Shaban, the second of the Egyptians in this semi-final, the 2023 World Cup final champion, is currently still looking to refine his form. The only Brit in the field, 2025 Junior European bronze medalist, James Hume. Germany's Miklos Riga joins the fray. 7th at the 2024 Junior European Championships. Had a good fence in the seeding round. 2024 Junior World Bronze medalist from Ukraine, Roman Popov. Also will fancy a good run in the fence. Mathis Rocha from France, the 2023 Junior world champion. He'll have fond memories of competing in Lithuania. Wow, that's some statement to make as he comes into the arena. Mate Lukas from Czechia, the World Cup final silver medalist earlier on this year. Well, adding to the quality of the lineup here is the 2019 under-24 European champion, also from Czechia, Marek Grič. A man with a point to prove, Spain's Pau Salomo finished 13th at last year's European Championships, looking to break through into the podium.
2024 Paris Olympian.
Branislav Chekin, the second of the Ukrainians in this lineup, 2023 under-24 European silver medalist. And here's the bronze medalist from the recent World Cup final, Hugo Fleur from France.
And representing Lithuania,
I think you can guess where this dude's from. The local crowd getting right behind Jonas Kalaminskas at the 2024 Junior World Championships. Quickly followed out by the under-19 Euro bronze medalist from 2023, Matteo Bovenzi from Italy. His teammates out next. Roberto Michele, Mr. Consistency. He's made every World Cup final this season.
representing Argentina, Franco Serrano.
Fifth at the 2023 Pan American Games in Santiago, Chile, Argentina's Franco Serrano.
Representing Switzerland, Alexandre Dallenbach.
Great laser runner, an Olympian. Can he do enough from the back to challenge for the final? Alexandre Dallenbach from Switzerland, a penultimate athlete. And representing Guatemala, Andrea Fernandez, sixth at those 2023 Pan American Games in Chile.
Athletes and judges, please take your qualifying positions.
So the athletes out 18 in the next 90 odd minutes will be whittled down to 9. You've met them. I'm Karen Bashir, and joining me, expert extraordinaire, African Championships silver medalist Anita van der Merwe. I'm tired after announcing all those amazing international medals for the 18. It's some lineup, isn't it?
Oh, it is definitely a lineup to watch, an action-packed day and an action-packed semi-final B. We just had semi-final A earlier on today where the first 9 secured their spot for the final, and this is what the men will be doing here. And yeah, it's just great to see the names that we have.
Well, we start with the fence. And we have 2 pistes here. We will feature the A piste. I'll take you through the coverage there. Alida will be keeping an eye on the B piste. That will be through the first 2 rounds. And then when we get to the quarterfinals, we'll be back on 1 piste. So we have a fight up to 5 hits. Only a minute, though, to complete those 5 hits. Leading fencer at the end of a minute, or the person who gets to 5 hits wins and goes through to the next round. This is a new format of épée fencing in the modern pentathlon new era, and we have Dallenbach against Serrano. The athlete on the right-hand side has the higher seed, and that is important because if the scores are tied at the end of a minute, then the leading fencer goes through as Dallenbach gets off the mark early. If you're new to épée fencing, whole body's target, you've got to hit your opponent with the tip of your sword, and it's the first one to hit who scores. If you hit within 40 milliseconds, that's 1/25 of a second, you'll get a point as well. That's called a double. Alida, you've got piece B. What's going on over there?
Well, on piece B, we have Michele on the right-hand side and Fernandez on the left. Michele with a 2-0 lead. Michele picks up his 3rd point. 20 seconds left on the clock. Comfortable lead here from Michele.
Serrano trying to find a way through here. This is the closest matchup you'll have in terms of seedings, 16 and 17. Looking to progress to the round of 16. Serrano desperately trying to find a way through, but attacking from the right from too far away.
Hernandez went for the flesh remise, but it wasn't a point. Athletes will start where ref called halt. Less than 9 seconds on piece B. And it's Michele with a comfortable victory for this first round. He will move through to the table of 16 up against Chababom.
As does Andre Dallenbach. Swissman making it through against a slightly higher seeded Serrano. So we have our round of 16 lineup complete now. As we take a look back, Dallenbach marching his way through. His prize for that win is to face the top seed from Egypt coming up on Peace Day. It is Elashka.
We have 2024 World Champion, Chababom.
Well, in men's semi-final A, we saw how Gal of Hungary really climbed his way through the ladder of this direct elimination round, so it is possible.
Elashka on the right, Dallenbach on the left. Dallenbach the pummeler using a French grip, so his hand is just a little bit further away from the guard than the previous opponent, but Elashka also a pummeler, as they're called, a straight grip, as Elashka on the retreat is able to fashion a counter-action.
Well, in piece B, Boom sets the pace, picking up the first point. He is the 2nd highest seeded fencer in this semi-final. Michele will need to make some moves, change his attack if he wants to win this round.
Elashka with the octave para riposte. Comes up with a double though. Dallenbach was quick with his remise, the follow-up from his attack.
Brilliant foot touch from Michele, excellent timing. Boom will need to wake up, scores 1-1, 22 seconds left.
Great change of speed on a feature piece from Elashka, taking one step away before launching the fleisch attack. Fleisch, the French word for arrow, because that's what the running attack looks like in fencing. And on the counter, able to use that extra reach.
Time is ticking on piece B.
Oh, lovely hit, sorry for Elashka on the main piece as he goes through quite easily.
Well, it was Michele who managed to tackle through to get that 2nd point. Boom is here with the priority. He goes for that flesh attack. Brilliant stuff from Boom. Michele in awe. Less than 2 seconds left on piece B.
Watch this touch on Peace Day, around the outside of the wrist, keeping the point beautifully in line, the Egyptian. Oh, just perfect. And you can see with the wrist pronation that a French grip allows, Elashka making it through and making it look easy. We move on the feature piece, and now Lithuania's. Looks like we've got the 2 Czech athletes coming out next. In fact, it's Grich against Lukesh. So we're underway here. The all-Czechia fight for a place in the quarterfinals against Elashka. These two will know each other, both pistol grippers. And a cagey affair is set here. We're halfway through the 60 seconds, and neither of them have got close yet to launching an attack. It doesn't look like Lukesh is staying just a little bit more active on his feet.
We have Salomo on the left-hand side and Rashad on the right on piece B. Time is ticking. Salomo just waiting for Rashad's response, but it's Rashad with a step back.
on a Grich. Patience has paid off. He's managed to get the first hit. And that means that, oh, well, Lukasz has leveled up here. Needed to do that. And now Grich is in a position where he has to score because Lukasz is the higher ranked fencer. So expect Grich to go after this. Inside 5 seconds. He needs to launch something now. He's going to run out of time here. And time does clock him out. That's another tactical error. He should have launched something.
Well, Rashad in danger here. He goes for the flash attack, doesn't get that single light. As Salamo just steps back and picks up the point, opening up the distance. Rashad changing up the pace here, but it's Salamo. Salamo with the riposte. I think there's some debate whether it was a touch outside of the piste.
Oh, we saw on the replay on the feature piece that Lukasz was somewhat relieved to make it through. Now coming out on the feature piece, the number 5 seed from Germany, across Riga. And he's taking on Hugo Fleureau of France. And the German primed and ready to go from the off.
Well, the Frenchman on Piste B evens out the score, 3-3. Salamo in danger now. And he ducks for the point, doesn't get it. It's Rashad. Rashad comfortable in this bout. It's Rashad with the victory.
All the way to win 5-3 in advance. The most exciting match of the day right there.
Rashad will be up next against Shababum in the quarterfinals.
Well, Fleureau leveling up here. And he has to push hard against the number 5 seed. He needs another point. Still half the fight to go, though. Riga, though, has got this aggressive positioning of his hand, elbow outside. It's a bit unorthodox for an Olympic epéiste or an Olympic fencer, or Fleureau just missing out on the hit to foot there. Placed the weapon onto the shoe of Riga, but Riga with a beautiful 2-beat parry riposte. Lovely hit from the German.
Well, in Piste B, we have an all-Ukrainian bout. Chechen on the left and Roman Popov on the right. Popov, the left-handed fencer. He's towards the back of the piece. He's almost in the danger zone. The time is ticking. No point yet. There's double score. Chechen went for the attack and it was Popov just with that riposte.
Well, we've got a bit of sportsmanship going on here, I think. Riga on the back line, hasn't gone over it. Gets the hit. But I think even he went to the referee and said, you should check to see whether I am awarded that hit. And he does indeed get it for a 3-2 victory. And Riga makes it through into the quarterfinals. Finals, of course, of the fence.
Chechen gets the point on the high line up against Popov. Popov really just towards the back of the piece. He needs to be responsive in this position. He changes up the pace, applying pressure onto Chechen. Goes for the foot, finishing high line. Less than 6 seconds left.
Just enough time for me to let you know that Jonas Kalaminskas has come out onto the piste here, the feature piste, and the Lithuanian goes up against Great Britain's James Hume, known as a very good fencer. Looks like there's just a little delay at the start of that. So, Alina, what's going on B?
Well, as Popov switching up the pace, he went for a flash attack. But it's Chekin who just manages to open up the distance and grab Popov's blade for the riposte. So we'll say goodbye to Popov, and Chekin moves on to the quarterfinals.
Well, just delayed the start of this fight here on the A-piece to give the crowd basically full attention on the A-piece. Velinskas coming into this as the lower seed, 13th. Hume, the number 4 seed from the ranking round, known as a very good fencer. The Brit there misses on the first riposte, then Kalaminskas goes past, and looked to me like it was a valid hit. You're allowed to hit your opponent once when they go past you. Sorry, I should say you're allowed to hit your opponent at your first attempt when they've gone past you. Hume playing a tactical game here. He's using defense as his main strategy at the moment.
Piece B, we have Bovenzi of Italy and Mohamed Shaban of Egypt. Shaban with the priority on the right-hand side. Picks up that first point, which is 7.3 seconds off the spout.
Stadium announcer trying to get the Lithuanian crowd up for this one, but James Hume is demonstrating why he's feared on the piste in modern pentathlon. A 4-0 lead for him, and a place in the quarterfinals beckons for the Brit. Finishes the job as well. So James Hume through against the Lithuanian in the field. Makes it into the top 8, and we go back to a leader.
Shaban picks up that third point, straight on to target of Bovenzi's arm.
3-2 Egypt.
Shaban showcasing some brilliant fencing here, really changing up his tactics. You can see the experience he brings to this fencing. Bovenzi trying to switch up his parries, but it's Shaban who just finishes strong onto the high line. He will advance to the quarterfinals up against Chekin of Ukraine.
So both Egyptians through as we move everything over to the feature piece, and we begin with Al Ashkar of Egypt up against Lukesh of Czechia. Lukesh on the left, Al Ashkar, the top seed from the fencing seeding round. Very calm demeanor on the piece for Al Ashkar.
Yeah, he's really just waiting for Luke's response, just playing with the distance, tries to go for the flash. He gets it on that riposte. And that's the one action that we talk about when going for the flash attack and passing your opponent. But great start from Al Ashkar. Time is ticking though.
Oh, that's a beauty to the foot for Lukesh. Yeah, that's the interesting one that you talk about, Al Ashkar's first hit. If you fail on the flash, being able to then block out and hit with the second action is, well, you have to train it. You don't see it often in Olympic fencing. It is a quirk of the speed at which épée is fought in the pentathlon.
14 seconds to score 2 more touches.
Well, he needs another point, the athlete from Czechia. Level score, higher seed goes through. Al Ashkar topping the fencing ranking round yesterday, and that remains the same. And I think you've said this before, doubles only favour the higher seed.
In moments like this, just 5 seconds left on the clock. Al Ashkar going towards the back of the piece. It gets messy. No point there. And it times out. So because Alashkar is the highest seeded fencer, there's just some discussion with the ref.
Is the ref going to just add a second to the clock, or are they going to shake hands? He's adding, well, he's added 60 seconds. He can't add that much. He's adding something, but it's not going to be much more than a second.
So in this moment, the athletes will now start where the ref called halt. They won't start at the on-guard position with the two lines beside them.
Both athletes must compose themselves now for this final.
And these seconds really count because anything can happen in these 3 seconds. Either Alashkar will just move towards the back of the piece, trying to escape from Lukesh, who will definitely be applying pressure. He'll be looking for that single light.
Well, a little bit of body evasion there. You called it spot on. The athlete starting up on the on-guard lines, and Alashkar didn't have much space behind him to move into. So you got to fancy this one's gone, and it is. Good on the referee to make sure those 2.2 seconds were used. He was fair to Lukesh, giving the Czechia athlete the time. But watch this body movement. In fact, it looks like Lukesh's first hit doesn't land. Goes flat, as they say in fencing. A little plunger on the end of these weapons. And flat means that you're putting the side of the barrel of the weapon against the jacket when you need to be putting the tip on the jacket. We move on though. Now the bottom of the draw, Csaba Böhm against Rochat from France. Rochat on the left-hand side, Csaba Böhm, the number 2 seed.
Oh, brilliant touch from Rochat just below Csaba Böhm's arm. It's moments like those hand touches that it just feels so rewarding. It's all about timing and targeting. But it's Böhm who will be responding. He'll be focusing on that hand positioning. And he goes for that flesh attack. Evens out the score.
Both countries have rich fencing pedigree. There's no doubt that these two will be trained at the very highest of levels.
Brilliant switch up between the different circular and counter 8 parries from Rochat. Now with that hand touch, Rochat could use it as a feint, sort of a fake action to finish onto a strong high line, and it's brilliant touch from Rochat.
Cat and mouse game this, so as the leader was alluding to, you can use a previous hit to set a trap for your opponent. So you make them think you're going to go for the same thing again, and you do something different. Even in a minute of fencing, these athletes are able to fashion that kind of opportunity, as Rochat is upsetting things here. And Csaba Böhm going for the throw the kitchen sink a bit approach here. Oh, how's he doing that?
So we call that a duck action. You literally just launch yourself to the ground to avoid your opponent's arm straight up against them. But Böhm responding, switching up the pace, applying pressure.
He only needs the one more hit. He's got time to get it as well.
So again, Rochat will probably just go towards the back of the piece. But it's Böhm who'll be launching himself to Rochat. And it's a point for Rochat.
Well, a great performance from the Frenchman here, taking out the number 2 seed, Csaba Böhm. A little bit of an upset.
And that's the hand touch that you see, just on target. Well
spotted, beautiful hit, and that's the final counter action from Rochat. And Roshat knocks out the number 2 seed, progresses through to the semi-finals.
So Roshat will be up against the winner of Shaban and Chekin.
Funny enough, that's on now. Chekin on the left, because Shaban is the number 3 seed after the fencing ranking round. Have had a great deal of joy and a little bit of sadness today with Tas Muhammad going through as expected through the laser run in the first semi-final, but Muhammad Hassan getting knocked out, unable to recover from a bad fencing seeding round. They'll be looking to Muhammad Shaban to add a little bit more joy to their day, but it's Chekan who's got the first point.
45 seconds.
Shaban trying to set up his attack. He didn't quite get the first flesh, so he'll be closing up the distance. Brilliant foot touch from Shaban. And that's where fencing experience comes in. If your first flesh attack didn't work, switch it up, try go for another target.
Often when you see fencers from the pentathletes, fencers from the same country, they'll have a similar style because they tend to be coached by the same coaching teams. In Egypt, it's far from the athletes looking the same on the piste. They all have their own unique style.
Yep, and it's definitely making use of different actions, and especially in this direct elimination round where they have the chance to explore and try new ways of attacking, whether it be defending. Because I mean, with the 1-point touches, you would just sort of stick to one action that you're really strong with, whether it be a flesh attack, and do that over and over again. But a 3rd point for Shaban.
Beautiful feint disengage for those of you in the know, in preparation from Shaban. That was a beautiful fencing hit.
Now, 0.7 seconds left. Even if Chekin gets the point, it will be victory for Shaban.
You can't blame him for a tiny bit of showboating, but standing still on the spot. Well, he had a tank running at him then. Little circular siege flick. There's no hits coming up, but what a hit from that's a beauty to the foot. And then there was this lovely feint disengage on preparation. That's the 1-2 high-low. And that was the attack in prep. It was a beauty. Shaban makes it 2 Egyptians from 2 into the fencing DE semi-final here. The men's semi-final B at the World Championships, modern pentathlon. 3 must become 4, but 2 must become 1. The last of the quarterfinals, Riga from Germany on the left against Hume of Great Britain on the right.
Hume trying to set up his attack, making use of the different parries where he's feinting, but it's double point. Riga went for the attack. Hume just steps back and picks up on the riposte. Just keeping the distance here. Should be careful in this side of the piste. Time is ticking.
You're right, Riga pushing Hume to the back end of the piece there. Didn't have the room to step away much more. And as he's been playing a defensive game throughout this competition, Riga seems to have had the measure of him.
But there you see it, the switch between attacking and defending. Hume applying pressure, and he gets the point. Beautiful touch from Hume. And there we're seeing it again, just making use of the different parry 6, parry 8. He started off with parry 8 and finished up on parry 6 with the lunge.
If you maintain this tie or tie at the end, you from Great Britain will advance. Ryder from Germany has to score at least one more touch for him to advance.
So since Hume has the priority, doubles are in his favor.
That's not though. He wasn't ready for that. Riga came out the blocks fast. Now Hume's got to go after it again. Even less time on the clock for the British athlete now. Oh, but Riga makes a tactical error stepping into Hume.
Hume will go to the back of the piece as Riga attacks, and he gets the 4th point.
What a fight this is. Well, we saw the German progress in the first semi-final, and that is a great start for Riga. It's Tim Lay who came through in semi-final A, and it looks like this is the kind of start that this German would have wanted, taking out a very, very fancied James Hume. Riga through to the semi-finals. Good fight as well.
Yeah, no, a great switch between leads there. Riga will be very pleased with that. We now move on to our last 4 remaining athletes.
We'll start with the top of the draw semi-final. Lashkar from Egypt on the right-hand side. Riga staying on after a big win over James Hume. Can he topple the top seed?
Alashkar with the French grip and giving that also an extra reach with his height. But it's Riga who picks up the first point. Great sportsmanship there. Rub of the arm. So that's where Riga scored his first points of this bout. Alashkar will be looking to respond. Setting up his attack. Tries to look for that gap to go for the finish.
2-1. Ryder with 30 seconds left.
I think it's fair to say you wouldn't fancy your chances of going for doubles against Riga. He's so good, isn't he? You need to set your single light hits up so well against the German. As if on cue, he knew I was going to say that. Alashkar not quite committing to the attack, and it turns into another double.
20 seconds left.
Riga in a dangerous position at the back of the piece. Will Alashkar push him off, or will he go for that flash attack? Goes up onto Riga's arm, and that was just what he was waiting for, that perfect timing, that opening, where he could pick up that single light instead of a double.
Big movement from Alashkar, so it's dangerous, you have to set that well, but in the counter, Riga's got himself back in control here. And what is Alashkar complaining about here? I don't think there's any ducking of the head or anything like that. There was no core-to-core, no body-to-body. Can't obscure target in Epee, so Alashkar's got his work cut out for him.
Riga towards the back of the piece now.
Time is the factor, though, that finishes the match, and Riga continues his run. The German is through to the fencing final here in this Pentathlon World Championship semi-final. He's just sharp into the counter, isn't he? Some question that he's gone onto the knee.
Looks
that
like
hit.
just on the knee there.
There was some question perhaps if it had gone onto the floor. It had to go onto the carpet, not the piste itself. The piste is earthed, but the replay showed us that it was plumb on the knee. So, one of the two Egyptians out. Now, Shaban, the number 3 seed, comes into his semi-final against Rocha from France, the number 7 seed. This for a place in the fencing final.
Like footwork from Rashad, just maintaining the distance up against Shaban. You don't want to get too close against Shaban because he's strong with his parries. He will take your blade and right onto target on the arm. Oh, here we see it. Shaban just, he's great with his target and precision, and
yeah, I mean, 2 different ways to hit the same spot on the target. Shows the quality of this Egyptian. The first one is a hit to the top of the wrist with a defensive action, and then he's able to create a situation where you use the same part of target with an attacking action. Good second intention there from Rocha.
yeah, you see Shaban try to go again onto target and almost paused his hand, hoping it would land onto Rashad's arm, but it's Rashad who had that second action that he could pick out of his pocket. Shaban was the back of the piece, but it's Rashad responding. Change of pace here. Is the 9 seconds left.
Shaban still with the advantage because he's the higher seeded fencer. Rashad has to go for this, and he does! What a hit to foot that was.
You can see he's definitely satisfied with that point, but now there's some discussion. So because the piece is earth, you can assume that none of the points will be scored on to the piece, but it's victory for Rashad of France. Shaban tried to make it for a run.
It's been a good day for France so far, well, unless you're Valentin Ballot, who went out. But that hit was on the foot. I saw it live happen in real time, onto the toes, and Shaban just couldn't get his foot out of the way. Boom, onto the top of the, onto the little toe, onto the pinky. As I say, good day for France. Saw Boris going through in the first semi-final, and Rocha having a great start in the fence for France into the final. And speaking of which, let's go straight to it. Riga. We've got the wrong names on the piece, which is why we've got this delay. It is Riga versus Rocha. Riga, the number 5 seed. Rocha, the number 7 seed. Unexpected for these two to get through to this final. And I think that's why we had the 2 Egyptians coming out on the scoreboard beneath the piece. It's a great thing about sport.
Well, I mean,
Never predict.
They might even be the new faces of this new pentathlon, so it's great to see them making it way through to the finals of this direct elimination. You can see how pleased Rashad is with his fencing performance here. He's very cool, calm and collected.
Well, as you can see, they've got Rashad's name up there, but it's Alashkar on the right-hand side. They're doing another reset of the scoring apparatus. Just shows how wonderful our graphics people are, because we've got the right names in the right place with the right flags. Perhaps our guy can go and help the guys down with the fencing equipment. Oh, there we go. All up and running properly. So, after a delayed start, both fencers seem to be taking it with a little bit of humour. The men's D final is underway here in the second men's semi-final at the UIPM World Modern Pentathlon Championships.
Riga opening and closing the distance here. Goes for that octave lunge, but as Rashad just disengages and picks it up on top of Riga's arm. Textbook fencing from Rashad.
It's a bit of a signature move, isn't it, for Rashad? Showing the low line octave power before circular seat before coming back into the high line. You need to know your lines in fencing to understand that fully. But basically, he's dropping his point into the low line, showing the top of his wrist. His opponent finishes off in the high line, which is where Rashad wants him to finish, so that he can take the final parry. He's kind of did it there, got a double rather than a single. The fencer on the left, he's just dropping the hand low and then coming back high. Gets another double.
Yeah, Riga just not close enough with the distance there to hit that single light. And it's such an important aspect, the distance in fencing. Making use of the piste. Whether it is pushing your opponent to the left-hand side or to the right. But it's Rashad comfortable in this lead. Can Riga get a single light? He goes for that octave lunge again, but it's not enough. Victory for Rashad. Will score those 250 points, and Riga comfortable with 244.
That's a great fence from these two European athletes, taking out the much fancied Egyptians in the semi-finals. And Rashad, not only fair, was the class act in the field. Riga, a close-ish second, but Rashad's blade work, consummate footwork added, takes him to the fencing win. Very glorious, thanks to the crowd. So that is the plunger that I was talking about at the end of the épée. A little barrel attached to the end of the sword. And this is how the fence panned out. Riga coming through the top of the draw, taking out Elashkar, the top seed in the semi-finals. Rashad coming through the bottom, having knocked out the number 2 seed, Böhm, in the quarter-finals. It wasn't the final we expected, but Rashad won it over Riga, 5 points to 4. The two Egyptians finishing in the semi-final positions. So only one of the first of the 5 disciplines to be complete. Rashad jumping up 6 places to the top of the rankings. Riga jumping up 3. Unsurprisingly, the two Egyptians have dropped a couple of places, along with Böhm and Hume. But the top 6 looking pretty solid at the moment. Good run from Chekan, jumping 3 places into the top 9. And it is the top 9 that qualify. Roman Popov will not be happy about his exit from the fence so early, because he's dropped down 3 places. Down the bottom of the field, looking to climb, Alexander Dallenbach, the only athlete in the bottom 6 to do that. And that completes the lineup of 18 after the fence. Before we move on to the next discipline, let's take a look back on how the fence went. Great result there for the French and the German. Rashad taking the fence here in the semi-finals of these World Championships in 2025. We move from the pistes to the OCR, the obstacle course race. 8 obstacles to be completed here in a unique lineup where the athletes will have to get around this bend in this basketball arena. The obstacle course race is next here, and And the athletes will come out in reverse order in 9 heats. And let's take a look at what the athletes have to contend with in the obstacle course race.
So we've managed to strap a GoPro onto the voice of the competition, get Kevin Donahue, OCR specialist, showing us how it's done. Here we have the tilted ladders through to the over, under and through. Ascending bars, so each bar is raised a little higher than the previous one. Giant steps, and this is the most challenging one, the swinging globes. All about grip, managing that timing, and also making use of that forward, backward swing and not necessarily left to right, because that can be costly with time. And to stick the landing before the finish wall, and it's this finish buzzer that will set the time for the obstacles.
Well, these overhead obstacles proving to be the real challenge, and it's whether you can see the difference in the athletes. 9 heats coming out. We'll go in reverse order. So Fernandez of Guatemala in the all Pan-American first heat goes up against Serrano from Argentina. And these athletes looking to climb through the obstacles quite literally, but also climb the rankings. This middle pack will be looking to make moves as well. We'll go Floro, one to watch out for. Will he master this course? And then we have the final heats. The top of the order, the top 6 coming out, looking to hold position, perhaps even the 2 Egyptians. That'll be an interesting race up there, that's for sure. Would it be the fastest? Talking about time, we are looking at a time of somewhere around 31 to 35 seconds. We have seen one person go under 30 seconds in the first semi-final, but average time of around 33 is what we can expect from the top athletes. As you can see, Serrano a lot quicker than Fernandez so far through the obstacles, and this is the first heat. So we saw the point of view video beforehand. We're trying to talk you through each of the obstacles in this first heat. As Andres Fernandez of Guatemala on the far side goes up against Argentina's Franco Serrano, closest to us, ready to go for heat 1. So, up through the steps into the big wheel, and then into the tilting ladders. Now, we'll see the different techniques here, and they're both pretty level with each other. The over-under through is all about agility and getting through efficiently and quickly. Now, they both missed the first of the ascension bars, but look at the speed of the Argentinian Serrano through the steps and onto the swinging globes. Again, where we'll see different techniques, and a one-arm changeover, and then missing the last 2, Serrano. He's setting a good time here. And clock's still running because we have Fernandez, who's made an error. He's fouled on these swinging globes, and now using a technique that uses all your power because he had no momentum. His biceps have to stay compressed. He gets up the wall so fast in the end, but a time of 53.86. Not a great one. 33.4 for Serrano.
Yeah, unfortunate from Fernandez there. A bit costly with the swinging globes, and as you've mentioned, it's the bicep technique that really is strenuous on the athletes. Interesting approach from Fernandez as he collapses under, rolls, and goes through.
Interesting approach or an error. Yeah. You're being generous, I think, Alita.
Well, we move on to heat number 2, Dallenbach in lane A and McKelly in lane B. And they're off steps to the big wheel, tilted ladders, swinging and release from McKelly. in the lead here. Pops through onto the ascending bars. It's all about that first big leap. Quick hands from Michele. Flies through the giant steps. Great technique from Michele. He goes for the finish wall. Just under 30 seconds for Roberto Michele. And brilliant stuff from Dallenbach. He'll be pleased with that 35 seconds. Michele seems to be really happy with that race. And I mean, this is a tricky course with the ascending bars and the swinging glows. Any small fault can really be punishing.
Well, and the curve as well, let's not forget about that. But he was electric through those ascending bars, using a technique we've seen from many of the athletes through them, and sets a sub 30-second time. Third heat features another Italian, Matteo Bovenzi on the far side, and the Lithuanian, Jonas Kalaminskas. Kalaminskas ready and primed to go. And they both missed the first tilted ladder, but the Italian has absolutely stormed away, missing the first two of the ascension bars. He is quick. Oh my goodness me, can he nail these? The swinging globes, missing the last two, then up the wall. What time's this gonna be? 26.714. What a amazing run from Matteo Bovenzi. The Lithuanian not slow in the slightest.
Well, I must say, we know Kalaminskas has an incredible obstacle course. He was just sort of hanging on the tilted ladders, which really cost him a lot of time. But brilliant stuff from Bovenzi, and it was definitely the ascending bars that set him apart.
Well, interesting that you should mention Kalaminskas through the obstacles. We're expecting him to be fast, but the pressure that comes with competing on home soil perhaps got to him.
Well, next up we have Floro from France in lane A and Salamo from Spain in lane B. And they're off. Salamo closest to us, Floro furthest to us. Salamo goes with a second tilted ladder. Brilliant stuff from Salamo. No time to waste for the Spaniard. Goes to the third ascending bars. Keeps up that momentum. Speedy stuff from Salamo. Will he go to the second swinging globes? Watch that reach he generates from the twisting of his body. This is sure to be a fast time. 25 seconds for Salamo. And Floro finishing up. He'll just be around 31 seconds, but what an incredible run from Salamo. There was those tilted ladders that really was just elite.
31.693 from Floro is not a bad time, unless you put him up against this Spaniard who was swinging through the obstacles like he was Tarzan. And look, composed as well. Yeah, absolutely effortless until the end. Can they go any faster? Roman Popov coming up next. Ukrainian goes up against Czechia's Marek Grich. Grich on the far side. Well, now we're getting into the athletes that may not be wanting to take too much of a risk because they've already done well in the fence. So solid through the obstacles, maybe the order of the day. Grich, quick hands through the final of the ascending bars, through the steps. Now the challenge of the swinging globes. And again, that technique of twisting from side to side to create the momentum, or at least keep it. And Grich through the line, 31.052. Popov, 33.549. And it looks to me like they will be quite happy with that. They didn't want to take any risks.
Yeah, it's in moments like these where you're sitting on around 9th, 10th position, or in just that top half of the gap where you just don't want to go too fast and make mistakes. Rather get through safely through the obstacles without elimination, because it's so punishing.
If you're wondering what we're talking about, the idea of the semi-finals is to make the top 9 qualify for the final, save some energy for the final when you do go all out for everything.
Well, heat number 6, Check-in lane A and Lucas in lane B. Check-in, Lucas, big wheel straight into that second tilted ladder. Brilliant stuff from Lucas, over, under and through. Onto the ascending bars, he'll go through that third bar. Look at that momentum and that drive. Dancing through those giant steps. Second swinging globes for Lucas. And he lands. Finish wall for Lucas will be 27 seconds. Brilliant stuff, but it looks like Check-in who has a fault. He'll have to repeat. Looks like the ascending bars. This will be costing him valuable time. The last major test of grip before the finish wall for Check-in. Just under 50 seconds. Well, there you see again, those athletes that go for the second tilted ladders and the third ascending bars are really the ones that set them apart from the rest of the field.
Yeah, it's where that risk factor, risk-reward factor comes in. If you're going to go for the big leaps in these overhead obstacles, you've got to keep the momentum. Perfectly displayed there by Lucas. A little bit cheeky at the end as well. Offering condolences before that. Heat number 7 ready. James Hume from Great Britain on the far side going up against Hungary's Csaba Böhm. Hume practicing earlier on is very, very quick through the tilting ladder. So quick, he didn't even give time to say it, and he is absolutely flying through this. Onto the third one. Oh, that is superbly quick from the Brit through the steps. Now, can he master the swinging globes? He's not going to be as fast as some of the others, but he could be inside 30 seconds, way inside. And Böhm having to go back to complete the swinging globes, and this is where things become very difficult, and sweaty hands means that Csaba Böhm is not going to complete the obstacle course. He's failed the same obstacle too many times, and that is elimination. It was a quick time from Hume, and he's so fast through those tilted ladders. Perhaps the fastest of the group. Just slowed up a little bit towards the end though.
Well, up next, 8th heat. An all-Egyptian heat with Shaban in lane A and Alashkar in lane B. So Alashkar set the world record for the OCR in the qualification, so he's one to look out for, closest to us. And they're off, steps into the giant wheel. Alashkar goes for that second tilted ladder. Oh, just misses the landing. Alashkar needs to repeat the tilted ladders, but it's Shaban flying through. Shaban goes to the second ascending bars. Quick hands here. Giant steps waiting to the swinging globe. He'll go for that second one. Different technique from Shaban, not much swinging. Oh, risky landing, but it's a good time for Shaban. And Alashkar just finishing off, just missing that landing. Doesn't look good for Alashkar.
Yeah, he's hurt himself here. Shaban looks on. This does not look good. He landed awkwardly on the cushion. It looks like the medic is being called over here. A challenging time for the Egyptians. Elimination for Al Ashkar. I was just seeing Shaban actually nursing a wrist as well. And Al Ashkar still lying flat, and this is where the first error was. Having to go back to complete the tilted ladders, you lose all your momentum. Shaban's already finishing, and the medics are still out here. We are going to have a pause in the action here because they're desperately not trying to move Al Ashkar.
Let's just hope Mohammed Al Ashkar is okay. Hopefully we
Tricky times for the two waiting in the wings for the 9th and final heat here of the obstacles, but there is not much they can do. A stretcher is actually being brought out onto the field of play as we speak. And to be fair, Lashkar is moving his arms. It's just he's probably trying to make sure that he doesn't injure himself anymore. That's the challenge that these two have to face. They've got to stay focused, concentrated, warmed up as well. And of course, they'll be thinking about their Egyptian opponent. Yes, they're up against each other, but there's a great deal of camaraderie in all of these Olympic sports because the athletes tend to see each other more than they do their own families as they compete around the globe throughout the season. It's of course the finale of the season for these athletes who will get to take a break now. As we look at Niklas Riga and Tally down on the field of play, very carefully manoeuvring Al Ashkar. He's up on his feet now, and that's why the athletes and the crowd are offering a round of applause. He's not moving freely, the Egyptian, but he is upright and moving under his own steam.
And a huge thank you to our medical staff who's right on it, making sure that he's okay. And Mohammed looks like he's able to walk it off a little bit.
Well, he is walking, but I think they're trying to offer him the stretcher just to give him a little bit of rest, and he's now just down on the field of play, and you can see Roshat is keen to get on with this, but Al Ashkar now just starting to carefully lie down on the stretcher, which is in between the swinging globes and the final wall, so there's absolutely no way they can get this final heat underway. Quite rightly, the medical team taking their time dealing with the injured athlete. And, this is where things stand at the moment. We have two more athletes to come, so this is only as things stand. Great move up from Hume and Lukesh moving up 6 places, but look at the move from Salermo and Bovenzi moving up 8 places each. This has been a real switch around in the standings. 8 places for McKelly as well, all climbing up. Serrano with 7 places gained in the middle of the pack. Down at the bottom, well, let's forget about Roshan and Riga. They haven't started yet, but Al Ashkar dropping 13 places, Boom dropping 12 with their eliminations. But it looks like we're ready to get the final heat underway.
Yeah, so we have Riga in lane A and Roshat in lane B. Roshat with a fast seater time closest to us. And they're off step straight into the big wheel. Doesn't quite go for the second tilted ladder, but that's classical technique from Roshat and Riga. Neck and neck, over, under and through. Second ascending bars here for Roshat. Quick feet. Brilliant technique from Roshat. And it'll be just under 30 seconds for Roshat, and Riga finishing around 31 seconds. Well, these two athletes just needed to get safely through the OCR as their current standings are just where they needed to be.
Yeah, so balanced approach from those two after a long wait. They got through the obstacle course race. It wasn't fast and flashy, it was solid and secure. And that's what both of these athletes need right now as they make it through the second of the 5 disciplines. And cautious approach the way forward, quite rightly. Defying gravity coming up the finishing wall, but 3 attempts to press the buzzer for Rochat, probably added as part of a second to his time. And the obstacle course has had a big impact on things right now. The change-up is dramatic. So here we go. Rochat, top of the order, stays at the top. Riga drops down to second place, overtaking Rochat. Hume with a great run in the obstacles, moves up into third. Lukesh, top 4 move for him. This is the part of the pack that we're really interested in. There's been some big change up. Look at Roberto Micheli moving up 6 places along with his Italian teammate up in 7th. Pavenzi sitting inside the current places for qualification. Down the bottom half, we've seen some big moves downwards. Chekan moving down 8 places, but look at the bottom. El Ashkar, which we hope is okay after a nasty fall, dropping 13, and boom, dropping 12 places. Elimination from the obstacles. It was fast, it was furious, it was frantic. Let's take a look back at how it all unfolded. Well, the new era is upon us. World Championships, history-making championships, the first major global event for the new era of pentathlon, including obstacles. But the obstacles are done in the men's semi-final B, and we move to the pool next. 50-meter pool here in this venue, and there it is. It's a beaut as well. Little bit humid and hot in there, but the water temperature, we're told, is very pleasant, and we've had some pretty quick times. As the athletes transition from their dry land gear to their wet water gear, we've had a chance to speak to Miklos Riga from Germany.
Hi, my name is Miklos Riga. I'm a pentathlete from Germany, and I'm very happy to compete here. Mostly, I actually enjoy that we have the OCR before the swimming, because I like to have some tonus and feel ready. I like it actually, but I prepare mostly that I will just try to focus on some key moments, like how to swim every 50 from the 200, and do mostly my race, because usually there are some really quick swimmers and I'm just trying to catch up now. So it's mostly about my swimming and just focusing on my technical elements, and then how I want to do my 50s and, let's say, keep them as same as possible, to have not a very fast and not a very slow 50, and then hopefully finish with a good time. That would be good. So we practice the transitions, but maybe just once a week really in the competition format, where we have obstacle, swimming and then laser run. But we usually have training blocks every day, and we try to keep or to look out to have swimming sessions and then shooting, or obstacle and then swimming. So we try to do it on a daily basis. But yeah, it just then gets normal. It's now a daily process for me, I have to say. Yeah.
Well, interesting that Riga there talking about pacing himself, trying to keep the 50s at the same pace as each other, not going too fast or too slow. And really, this is the order of the game when you get to this point. We've done 2 of the disciplines. The fencing and the obstacles is done, and we move to the pool. And this is where strategy really plays a part. Setting up really simply, the athletes at the back of the field would go off in heat number 1. Mid-pack goes second heat, and the fastest, or I say the fastest, those at the top of the modern pentathlon points ranking after 2 events go in the final heat, which means that we've got a mishmash of athletes of quick times, slow times, different techniques, different abilities in the pool. So every single heat is just as important as the other. Alida, what are they thinking about in terms of pacing this first heat, the ones that are trailing?
Well, the first heat, as you said, are lower down in the pack, and they still have a chance to qualify for that top 9 position. So whether it be they're trying to put in a really strong swim to try to catch up before the start of the laser run, that is definitely what's going through their heads in this heat. But it's sort of a fine line between not using all your energy and all your juice in the swimming, and you can't even have enough left in the tank for the laser run. But yes, so as you can see, lane 1 up until lane 4. So lane 1, the higher seeded athlete.
Yeah, the fastest time in this group would have been from Elashkar. Sorry, I tell a lie. He would have been second fastest. Alexandra Dellenbach in lane 2 for Switzerland is the fastest in the pool. Serrano, Dellenbach, Chechen, Fernandez. Just wait to see the rest have joined the field. Out we go then for the first heat of the swim.
Well, in this swim, we always talk about that first 50 pacing.
You can see the empty lane, lane 5. That is Mohammed Alashkar's lane. He is not going for this. Shaba Bohm, who also got eliminated from the obstacles, is in the pool. And I wonder whether we're going to see a super fast time with him to try and give himself some chance of getting into the top 9.
Well, Dellenbach really using his height and his long wingspan to his advantage. And see how he's just gliding through the water here. But it's further up in the pack. Fernandez and Chicken. Fernandez alongside Dellenbach. Just around 1 minute split for that first 100 meters. So because Fernandez is one of the lowest seeded athletes in this heat, he will be looking to put in a stronger swim. But as we said again, it's all about making sure you have enough energy for the start of the laser run. The third 50, usually the harder of the 4 50s. It's that awkward pacing between not giving everything that you would in that last 50 and that first 100. But it's Dellenbach finishing strong in this first heat. We should see a time around 2:05, 2:03 from Dellenbach. But it's definitely Chaba Bohm in lane number 6, not holding back, turning around 2:06.
So Alexander Dellenbach from Switzerland coming through in first place. He broke the back of the rest of the field, having been overtaken by Serrano in the, sorry, not by Serrano, by Fernandez in the second 50. He came storming back in the third. At the last turn, he was first and held on to the lead. All about the time in the pool, all about the pacing.
And given that we have a 50-meter pool, athletes won't be using the turns to their advantage. And one would think, well, more turns could be a bit slower, but in fact, more turns allows you to push off the wall a bit more and generate more push. And that is also a challenge that athletes face swimming in a 50-meter pool. But it was quite interesting. I think some athletes prefer the 50-meter pool because you can focus more on your strokes and your style instead.
Technique, yeah, which Riga was talking about just before we got underway with the swim. Challenging time here for the Egyptian in particular, with Al-Ashkar pulling out of the first heat. So we've only had 5 of the 18 athletes going in the swim in the pool. Al-Ashkar has departed the World Championships, and we hope that he is getting better. The second heat is going to be coming out very shortly. We know the Italians are quick in the pool, but a 1:53.58 is the best time for Matteo Bevenzi in the last 12 months. His personal best, 1:53.58. Now, he's in the middle of the pack. There will be a huge opportunity for him to jump up the rankings here. We could get a super fast time for the Italian in lane 1. In lane 2, Marek Grich from Czechia. Inside him, Crane's Roman Popov. The other Italian, Roberto Micheli, goes in 4. Hugo Fleureau of France in 5. And Jonas Kanaminskas from Lithuania in lane 6. Second heat then. This is the mid-pack. This is where some changes can be made. And I'm going to call it a leader. I think Matteo Bevenzi is going to pull ahead here.
Well, athletes are off and away. If we look further up to the top of the screen, we have in lane 4, Micheli, Fleureau in 5, and Kalaminskas in 6. They're only about 4 seconds from Popov, who is sitting on 9th position. So you can see those 3 athletes towards your top of your screen will be looking for a strong swim. A sub 30-second split time on this first 50. But Bevenzi will be in a race of his own. You can see the rhythm he's setting with his style. And one would think he's even counting the strokes with this sort of rhythm, and he would know he needs to do, say now, 30 strokes per 50. But that is a real technical strategy as a swimmer. Watch how he's just shifting gears for this third 50. Streamline kick.
He's just motored away from the rest of the field, and think about rowing and the stroke rate. You just look at him, the closest to the camera, and then look ahead, look up behind him at the pace of the arms that are moving from the other athletes. He's in a different class. Is he going to break 2 minutes here?
I think he could. He is pacing himself for it. But I think the beautiful technique that he has, he's not creating so much drag. You can see his kick isn't as splashy, and his hips are sort of in one position. Just no drag at all, and it is a sub 2 minutes for Bevenzi.
Miles under 2 minutes. What a performance from him.
And it's his teammate Micheli turning on around 2:03. That is what he needs to catch up to that top 9 position. Popov and Grich might be in danger here with the rest of the pack.
That is some time from Matteo Bevenzi. Not quite his PB, but just a second off it, and nearly 10 seconds ahead of the rest of the pool here in the second heat. He is going to climb the rankings for sure. So noticed he glided through that dive into the pool a lot further than the rest of the athletes. Coming in for the finish. 9.5 seconds ahead of his teammate. Matteo Bevenzi of Italy was dominated in the pool in the second heat. Well, the top 6 go out next. Roshat and Riga in lanes 1 and 2. Hume and Lukesh in 3 and 4. Shaban of Egypt in 5. And Paul Salomo in lane 6. He's not got the fastest swim, Salomo, but nor has Riga, who's currently sitting second in the rankings. The smiling Frenchman comes out first. It's Rochat closest to us. Now there's some gap between Rochat, Hume and Lukesh in terms of their best times this season, all clearly under 2:10. 2:11.64 for Shaban, 2:17 dead for Salomo, 2:17.35 for Riga in lane 2. We could see lanes 2, 5 and 6 trailing behind lanes 1, 3 and 4. Heat number 3 of the swim. The last heat for these lot return to the indoor arena for the conclusion of the men's B semi-final here at the World Championships.
Athletes are all making use of that dive straight into the underwater. Wow, look at the distance Rochat reached with that underwater dolphin kick. Looks like Shaban further up in the pack, leading this first 50 alongside Lukesh of Czechia. About 28 seconds split for that first 50 of Rochat. So now the question is, will Rochat be looking to put in a strong swim and have a comfortable head start for the laser run?
Well, is he thinking about Bavenzi's time? Is he thinking, well, that is so fast, do I need to put a little bit more in than I plan to?
It's Lukesh and Rochat turning on a sub 1 minute. They should clock around 2:02, 2:03 for the 200 meters. But it's Lukesh really changing the pace here in that third 50.
What about James Hume in lane 3? He seems to have just dropped off the front a bit. Is that an indication that he's pacing himself? Because he's got a best time of 2:04 dead.
Yeah, no, I think Hume is saving a bit of energy for the start of the laser run. Beautiful technique from Lukesh. You can see the elbows that he lifts above the water. Really gliding smoothly across the water. Great feel for the water. It's Lukesh turning around 2:03, 2:04, 2:04 for Rochat and Lukesh.
Well, in the end, Hume came back a little bit to finish in third ahead of Shaban. Shaban almost bang on his personal best this season. In fact, 0.56 seconds ahead of his personal best. Salomo coming home in 6th place. But he had great obstacles. Has he done enough over the obstacles to ensure that swim is not too damaging? You see a real difference, don't you, in the dive in? You mentioned the dolphin kicks from Rochat at the start there. But for me, I think the easiest thing to see is when all their heads pop up out of the water. Rochat still went another 1.5 meters before the rest of the field were in their swim and kicking.
Yeah, and I think it's definitely an energy-saving technique. Instead of using your arms, just kick as far as you can. But there is a distance limit. You can't go further than 15 meters with the underwater. But given that, just great effort from Rochat.
So, we've had the fence, we've had the obstacles, and now we've had the swim. Notice Rochat doing enough to stay top of the order. He's got a 9-point lead at the moment over Matteo Bavenzi, who's climbed 5 places in the swim. Good move from Matej Lukesh, up 1 place in that final hit. Hume moves down as a result because Riga of Germany moves down 3 places. It's now in this middle pack. We really got to look at the times and the totals. Hugo Fleurot, 8:53, just 2 ahead of Roman Popov. Will come out 2 seconds behind him in the handicap laser run. Salomo dropping 5 places out of the top 9. He's going to need a good laser run, but he's not too far behind either. Then we start to get a big drop off, and if you start looking from 15 downwards, they are a long way behind and will need to have good visits to the range. Down to Fernandez, a long way back. So we've had 3 of the disciplines so far. Before we move on to the laser run, let's take a look back at the swim. So the pool is done here for the men's semi-finals, and we will take a little stroll through this building, a labyrinth as we've been dubbing it, back into this main arena, which has been converted from a very popular basketball venue here in Kaunas to the laser run conclusion of this modern pentathlon semi-finals. The athletes will have to get through 5 laps of the 600-meter course, 3,000 meters run, punctuated by 4 visits to the range where they need to hit the target 5 times before moving on. Then on the final lap, they'll make their way outside, and this gives us a view of what they have to go through. A bit more cross-country / marathon type conditions before they enter back into the arena and make a sharp turn at the end, with the top 9 over the line, making it through to the semi-finals. So the feature here is about the top 9, and it's not really, it seems a little counterintuitive, but we don't really follow the front of the race because everyone in the top 5 or 6 tends to be able to jog over the line at the end, such as their advantage over the rest of the field. We focus on who's sitting in 8th, 9th, 10th, 11th, 12th places as we take a look at the course. The athletes come out of the arena into the outside and run around a very tight and twisty circuit. We have seen overtakes here, but if the field is bunched up, it's very tricky. That bend in particular, very tough. Nice view of the river as they run back up towards the final double loop. And then a little bit of an uphill here before coming around the final bend outside for running up back into the arena. Got big screens in the arena, so the spectators here get to see the athletes outside. Then they take this twist and run over the obstacle course, down the back straight, and into the final 2 bends. They're taped up because there's been some prediction there could be some rain here, so the corners have been taped up. Now, through the first 4 laps, you basically take a slightly less tight turn and come into the range. And this is the view the athletes get of the range. You've got to hit that target, laser target, no bullets involved in modern pentathlon anymore. You've got to hit it 5 times. Turn the red lights into green lights, and then you motor your way back out. Now, we sped this up here because otherwise we'll be here all day on this video. But we're running around the outside again, up that hill, back into the venue, and now we come around the final couple of bends. Now, this is super tight coming into the start-finish straight, but that's where you have to cross in the top 9 to make it through to the semi-finals. And the leader and I are going to try and guide you through this, but remember, we're not focused on the front, we're focused on that middle pack, 7, 8, 9, 10 to 12, 13, perhaps even 14. And it looks like we've got Mate Lukesh checking his starting order. Wonder what he has to say about the laser run.
Hi, I'm Mati Lukesh. I'm from Czech Republic and I'm modern pentathlete. Okay, mentally it's really easier because we have we don't have much time to thinking. So it's easier and easier every year because every year is shorter and shorter time between these two disciplines. And physically, it starts in the pool because we can't push to maximum. And for me, example, I relaxing my legs and pushing a little bit more with hands and manage it my breath. And after finish in the pool, I tried start jogging ahead right after swimming and running to arena when it's where running. So this is physically.
Wonderful chat with Matej Lukasz. Great to have the insight from the athletes. As a man who can swim, Matteo Renzi going clear under 2 minutes in the pool to set himself up for second place behind Matthias Roschap. The point's all important, Elida.
Yeah, no, definitely. And athletes will be looking for that top 9 position. But given the semi-final, I think it's important to also note that we have a 1:30 pack. And that ultimately means, well, this event uses a handicap start. So based on the total number of points athletes have earned throughout the day, the athlete with the highest score starts first. Then for every point behind, the next athlete starts 1 second later. So if someone is 10 points behind, they'll start 10 seconds after the leader. However, there's a limit. If an athlete is more than 1:30 seconds behind, they will be grouped and start together. And it's just check in Fernandez and boom, that will be in this 1:30 pack. So at the end of the race, it depends on the total number of points.
It's an important point that you say that as we look at James Hume of Great Britain starting in 4th place. He's on 880 modern pentathlon points, which puts him 25 seconds behind the leader. He's a good runner. Can he compete in the range? But it's important that we do mention the athletes wearing 15, 16 and 17 will, if they get into the top 9, will have to have their time adjusted. So we need to remember, Elida, that if Chekan Fernandez or Boom comes over the line in the top 9, we have to wait for confirmation of their times. Everyone else will go out on their allotted time, so if they finish in the top 9, they've qualified for the finals. Michele also had a good swim in the 3rd heat. He goes out in 7th place. We'll be focused on Ugo Floro in 9th and those around him. So 7th, Michele, 8th, Grich, then it's Floro, and then chasing pack, trying to get ahead of Floro. Popov, Salomo, and Dallenbach. Going out just behind them, the Lithuanian as well, Kalaminskas. How far down the field can someone come back from?
Well, I mean, I'd love to talk about Murtaz Mohammed, who is a really great example about this. But I mean, I think Serrano, Kalaminskas have a running chance for qualifying. I mean, they're great laser run athletes, but as we say time and time again, shooting is the penultimate point that will determine the men's qualification.
And it's where we're going to see a lot of the overtakes, if we see overtakes here. This tight track doesn't lend itself to pack running, so you don't really want to get caught up chasing. You want to pace yourself through that. And Lukasz just getting told the time for your warm-up shoot is over. The athletes will go to the officials and check where they're starting just to make sure they understand. Don't want to go off early. Get a good look there at the GPS tracker on Dallenbach, the Swissman, on his right ankle. The leader, Roschap, waiting to go. Bavenzi going out in 2nd place. offering support to Roman Popov in 10th. James Hume, can he hold on? Seen him sometimes go out a little fast and blow up in the final lap and a half. And of course, going out hard and fast means it's harder then to just settle yourself for the shoot. Managing the run, managing the chance to get yourself into the range for a decent run. 1 minute to the start, and I can tell you that in semi-good news, Al-Ashkar, the Egyptian who's had to pull out after a fall in the obstacles, it wasn't his back that he'd injured, it's a twisted knee. So we wish him the best in his recovery. The lineup though, and this is the part that we're going to be looking at. Michele, Grich, Fluro, Popov, Salomo, Dellenbach, and we think also Kalaminskas in the bottom 6, also in with a shout here. Franco Serrano even could do this, and then there's the pack. We won't see Al-Ashkar of Egypt. So we have 17 runners ready to go. The last action here in the men's semi-final B here in Kaunas.
Let's start to count. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Take your marks.
Out we go then for the laser run. And Matis Rocha is out. He'll have a 9-second lead over Matteo Bovenzi. Gets going. 3 seconds behind him, Mate Lukash from Czechia. And James Hume will be the next out. He's got 11 seconds to wait though, the Brit. Still waiting in the wings, and off he goes. Miklos Riga, a couple of seconds behind him. And then Mohamed Shaban, we expect to feature in the top 9. Roberto Michele will come out next in 7th place. And then just after him, we'll have Marek Grich leaving the starting area. Now, Ugo Floro, where we'll keep our focus in the early stages, coming out just a few seconds behind the Frenchman on the bubble, chased out by Roman Popov of Ukraine, and quickly Pau Salamo of Spain joins them. 8th, 9th and 11th out into the outside part of the arena. Alexander Dellenbach has gone out as well, along with Jonas Kalaminskas. We are up and running.
This is the first lap. It is the formation lap before the start of the shooting. So whether that be athletes just trying to set pace, not trying to go out too fast. And it's that hairpin turn that will bring a few challenges to the course. It's all about quick steps around these corners. Quick steps for the corners as well as the uphill incline.
Well, I said we focus on the battle for 9th, and here it is. Fluro leading out Popov. Franco Serrano and Salamo for Spain in there as well.
Well, we have Rushad making his first shooting series. 2 green lights for Russia. And Rushad is off and away for his second running lap. Brilliant shooting from Bovenzi. An 8-second shoot from Bovenzi, incredible. But the story today is the qualification spot. Popov taking over Floro. Popov now in that 9th position before the first shooting series.
Well, here they come into the range, the pack on the bubble. Popov has moved up into 9th, but the shoot is going to be telling here. We'll three coming in pretty much at the same time. Shaban makes it out in 5th place, and we see Popov's target on the right-hand side gives us a really good idea of how they're cracking on.
Well, it's Popov and Salamo that we need to keep an eye on. 5 green lights for Salamo and Popov. 8 and 9, Salamo and Popov. Fleureau is now further up in the pack, but it's Kalaminskas out and away.
Big change around then. Fleureau dropping out of the top 9 into 11th place, and look at the gap. So we are focused on Popov and Salomo at the moment for this 9th place. Popov holding it currently, and Fleureau's got to be careful that he doesn't get overexcited in the early stages here and try and close up this 10-meter gap too quickly. And neatly around the tight bend, take a couple of really short steps as Serrano making it out of the range along with Fernandez, but they've dropped away, and I think we can say that they are going to struggle to get in there. Shaba Bohm, though, climbs 3 places, and Kalaminskas going up 1. But this is the pack that they are after. Fancy already with the pack starting to separate a little bit, Alida, that the shoot is going to become even more important.
No, definitely. And I mean, you can look at Popov and Salomo just pacing themselves against each other, just waiting for that final lap that they're going to give it their all. But it's now Salomo on 9th. Popov doesn't seem too worried about this changeover. But it's Roshat, the leader of the pack, off and away for his 3rd running lap.
Lukács has overtaken Shaban, and look at that overtake there. There was a real slow up from Salomo, and Popov has retaken 9th place, and there was a little conversation between them as well. He wasn't happy with the pace that the Spaniard was setting, and he's just pushed it up a little bit. Popov, the Ukrainian, now needs to make sure that he has a solid shoot. I wonder if Salomo's starting to tire already. Has he burnt himself out with 3 more laps to come?
Well, 3 green lights for Popov. And a 5 green light shoot. 7-second shoot for Popov is what he needs. And it's Fleureau off and away. He's making a comeback on this laser run.
Riga's dropped a couple of places, but as you called it, Popov has jumped 2 into 8th. Grich in 9th, but closely followed by Fleureau. There is Marek Grich. So Riga in 7th place, coming past us now, followed by Popov in 8th. Marek Grich is the man on the bubble, coming around the tight bend now, but right behind him, Hugo Fleureau.
Rich really in danger here with Fleureau just hunting him down.
Well, I gotta say, I think the German could be in trouble as well. Riga having a really bad visit to the range on the 2nd visit, and he could be threatened by a lot of them. Salomo just looking like he's holding up a little bit in 11th place. He may be dropping away, and is he under threat from Kalaminskas and Bohm? The value of overtaking someone, even in 11th place, is huge.
Well, there you see it. Fleureau overtakes Grich. He's now sitting on 9th position. He's shifting the gears now, picking up the pace for his 3rd running lap. And his teammate Roshat in the shooting range. He's struggling with his first shoot. He's got that 1 green light, but it's Lukács now joins him in the range.
These gentlemen are in their 3rd shoot right now, led by Rocher.
Fleureau, the Frenchman, catching up to Riga. Riga in danger now, sitting on 8th position.
Big trouble. Roshat's still in the range, though. 23 seconds he's on, and Lukács could overtake him. Lukács has overtaken the lead at the front. Roshat just getting out with a 26.51 shoot. Michele coming into the range. He's got his first green light, but here's the pack. Popov, Riga, Fleureau coming in, and they are on the bubble. Riga dropping away. Popov having a great shoot. Popov, Ukrainian, comes out of the range behind Michele. Riga still on 2.
Salomo and Kalaminskas. Kalaminskas on his 5 green light for Kalaminskas. This is what Kalaminskas needs, an 8-second shoot to pick himself up for the top 9.
Stunning stuff. Kalaminskas is up into 8th place. Marek Grich holds on to 9th, and Fleureau has dropped behind him in the range. So Kalaminskas sitting in 8th. He's looking a little tired, the big Lithuanian. But Hugo Fleureau overtakes Grich into 9th place, and he's put the afterburners down, and Kalaminskas is getting dropped by everybody.
Fleureau now in 8th position. Grich, Salomo on 9. This is the 4th running lap, and this will all come down to this 4th shooting series.
Well, I can't quite believe I'm saying this, but Fleureau and Salomo, who I thought had lost it, he'd run out of juice. Salomo is the one on the bubble now, and he's keeping up with Fleureau. I mean, his running style is a little more laboured than the Frenchman, but he's got loads in the tank still by the looks of things. Grich in 10th, looking a little lost as the bell goes for the athletes coming into the range at the front. Well, this is an incredible finish here. The leader into the range, Lukash, followed by Rocha. And we are focused on Fleureau in 8th, Salomo in 9th, and Grich in 10th. 100 metres to run inside before one more visit to the range for these athletes. Top 9 places are up for grabs in the final. Anyone finishing outside the top 9 in big trouble as the leaders make it out of the range.
2 green lights for Fleureau. And Fleureau is off and away for his final running lap. Fleureau is sitting on that 8th position, but let's look at Kalaminskas shooting. Salomo is off and away, comfortable in 9th.
This is it. Salomo in 9th has opened up a bit of a lead over 10th place. Grich and Kalaminskas are out of the range, but you can see them in the background. They've got a lot of distance to catch up on this final lap. What grit from Salomo.
Absolute determination from Salomo, but I wonder if Grich has what it takes to catch up to him. It is quite a big gap that Salomo has.
Well, Grich is certainly chasing him down. He's overtaken Kalaminskas, that's for sure. Marvellous performance from Shaba Bohm, sitting in 12th, but I think he's a bit too far back. There he is in the red top and green t-shirt. He is overtaking Kalaminskas. Has he really got a chance here, the Hungarian? They're coming into the final couple of bends outside. That climb will be painful at this stage. They come up the hill around the final bend outside. Salomo having a quick look over his shoulder. It's Marek Grich behind him. He's got to focus on staying, looking where he's going here, because this can be a little tricky coming from outdoor to indoor. He's still looking over his shoulder. He's thinking, how much more do I need to put down here? This is absolutely thrilling. He's having to look forwards and backwards at the same time. And he's closing out Fleureau here. He's having to put down so much here. Has Grich given up as Lukash crosses the line backwards from James Hume. And then the gaggle coming over the line. Shaban making it through. And Salomo does indeed cross the line in 9th place with a huge hug from Fleureau. Marek Grich wasn't too far behind that. Riga was the man that was dropped. Grich coming through. 11.05 off the leaders. Oh, what a thrilling end to the race. Kalaminskas crossing the line in 13th in the end, burnt up on the 3rd of the 5 laps and then just got swallowed up. Fernandez closing things out. Dullenbach 31 seconds behind the leader. We've got Chekan and Serrano to come through, but what an effort these chaps have put in here. And here comes the Ukrainian to finish things off. Well, you have to say, as Serrano comes to finish off his efforts here at the World Championships, what a run from Salomo. What a balanced run from Fleureau of France to finish in 8th. But Salomo's grit and determination, something to behold.
No, that was excellent stuff from Salomo. He did start off in 11th position. Spain will be really happy to have an athlete into the final. He's done it.
Well, we take a look back over the laser run. We weren't necessarily too focused on the front, but it was Matthias Rocha who started things off, followed by Bavenzi, Lukash, Hulm, Riga, Shaban, Micheli, Grich and Fluro in the top 9. It was the chasing pack behind that did a marvellous job. The grit of the run of the man from Spain, the feature, him and Popov had a little bit of a running up together as Salomo had overtaken Popov and then seemingly just slowed down a little bit. But the Spaniard came flying back. Riga, the German, was the man that was dropped. But Grich, Marek Grich from Czechia was in there in the mix for quite a lot of the race. He was on the bubble for a bit and showed that he had the legs to run, but he just couldn't do things in the range quick enough. Fluro, there is Grich. Riga, though, getting dropped by Kalaminskas, the Lithuanian, though got swallowed up on the final lap, just not able to get the tank over the line. Fluro coming through in 8th, and an effort from Serrano. Decent shoots, but it was the grit around the run that really made it for the Spaniard. He's just checking how far ahead of Grich he was. He was not just looking at Grich, he was looking at Grich's target to see how many lights were on. And Lukash coming over the line in 1st place for Czechia, going backwards. James Hume of Great Britain in 2nd. Not worried about the time, they'd all qualified. And Salomo getting a huge hug from Hugo Floro, who finished in 8th. And the 9 to qualify for the finals here in a couple of days. Ante Lukash from Czechia, James Hume from Great Britain, Roberto Micheli from Italy, Egypt's Mohamed Shaban, Italy's Matteo Bavenzi, Ukraine's Roman Popov, Mathis Rocher of France, along with his teammate Hugo Floro, and Pau Salomo completing the 9, making it through men's semi-final B. Wow, what a finish. And here's how things were confirmed. Micheli making it up by 4 places on the laser run, along with Roman Popov, who put down a huge run. Bavenzi, well, it was the swim that got him into this, that is for sure. Finishing in 5th place, enough to book his spot in the final. Completing the top 9, the 2 French athletes. Rochard starting out 1st place, dropped 6, but he wouldn't have been too concerned about that. Hugo Floro's visits to the range got him safely through to the final, and the grit and determination of Pau Salomo of Spain got him through in 9th. The final spot booked in the men's World Championship final at the 2025 Pentathlon World Championships here in Kaunas, Lithuania. The unlucky losers held up at the bottom of the draw by Mohamed El Ashkar, who struggled on the obstacles, ended up twisting his knee and had to withdraw. Shababom perhaps reflect on this, working out where he can improve, because he would have felt he had a chance to do that. But a leader, it was a great semi-final. What a thrilling run from Salomo.
No, brilliant stuff from Salomo, the story of this semi-final. And that's it. That's the top men that we have in the men's final for Super Saturday.
Super Saturday in Kaunas to come. The men's competition semi-finals is done. We have 18 athletes through to the men's final. But tomorrow, come back and join us for the women's semi-finals. Before that, though, let's take a look back at the action from the men's semi-final B.